PFL 2022, week 5 of the regular season. The heavyweights, one lightweight fight, and then the featherweight division. We got Bruno Cappelozza, the heavyweight champion of last year, taking on Matheus Scheffel, who has yet to get a win inside of the PFL. We got former UFC champion Ante Pettis fighting Stevie Ray, Kyle Bochniak, who fought Zabit Magomedsharipov, fighting Chris Wade, who fought Islam Makhachev. We got Renan Ferreira. Sorry about that. We got Klidson and Abreu as well. Stuart Austin, who beat Tom Aspinall in the UFC. Ante, Delija. Denis, Goltsov, Sam K. Jamelle Jones, Ali Isaev, who's a former champion as well. Bubba, Jenkins, Saba, Bolaghi. Lance Palmer, a two-time former champion, taking on Sheymon, Moraes. Loughnane and Boston Salmon. And Alejandro Flores and Ryoji Kudo. So we got some really solid fights for PFL 2022 week 5. If you guys like the video, whatever the case may be, make sure to hit the like button and make sure to go subscribe down below with notifications on as well to get notified for more PFL predictions. But with all of that being said, let's get in the first prediction here in the PFL featherweight division. Alejandro Flores and Ryoji Kudo in the featherweight division. Now, Ryoji Kudo had one of the closest fights I have ever seen against Loughnane. I mean, it's been so close over and over again. A majority decision with Kasiki Sasu right there. And then a technical decision with Loughnane. I mean, it absolutely sucks. This man keeps on getting such close fights not go his way. But he's a finisher on a 3-fight win streak, all by first round knockout before that. And that is what he's going to have to do here against Alejandro Flores, is land the hard shots. Because at range, Alejandro Flores is going to piece them up. Alejandro has the leg kicks, he has the front kicks, the body kicks. He's just overall the faster, snappier, speedier, better striker. I mean, he's just taller, lengthier. I mean, everything at range for Alejandro Flores, he's going to have a very big advantage. The only way Ryoji Kudo is going to win this fight is if he can limit that advantage of Alejandro Flores by putting on a heavy pressure and finding ways to get Alejandro Flores back to the cage and throwing with the power that we know he does have. He knocked down Loughnane in the first round, almost knocked him out, and he's done it plenty of other times. So if he's going to win this fight against Alejandro Flores, it's got to be a knockout. He needs to go out there and chin Alejandro Flores, but I don't see it happening. Alejandro is too tall, too lengthy, too fast, really good movement on the feet as well. Neither guy really has the best wrestling or grappling game, so I definitely see the fight staying on the feet for 3 rounds. And Alejandro Flores is picking his shots very precisely, technically on the outside, and just landing more volume, more shots, and winning the fight by a very close 29-28 decision. Loughnane and Boston Salmon in the featherweight division. Boston is 31.5 years old, and then Brendan is 32.5 years old. So no real age advantage, no real height advantage, no real reach advantage. So we just got to look at where these guys hold their advantages. Boston Salmon, in my opinion, is going to have the power advantage. What he did against Do-Hyun Lee was absolutely amazing. Got him just like landing big shots on him throughout the entire fight. That really good left straight to right hook combo was absolutely amazing from Boston Salmon in that fight. But in the fight with Loughnane, he needs to land those big shots very fast in this fight, because I could not help but think that Loughnane is probably going to land a few takedowns throughout this fight, and that is kind of what's going to give him the edge on the judges' scorecards, because the volume of Loughnane and Boston Salmon is going to be pretty similar, slight edge to Loughnane. But if Boston Salmon can go out there, land the harder shots like I know he can do, and go out there and defend the takedowns of Loughnane, he could win a very close decision in this fight. It's very possible. So I do think the fight goes all the way. Either way, whoever wins, if Salmon wins, probably be a decision. If Loughnane wins, it'll probably be a decision. But it's going to be 29-28 either way. I think Salmon will edge out 1 round with landing the harder shots, and Loughnane will land out the other 2 rounds. Just kind of keeping the fight at range, using his jab, his leg kicks at range, just picking apart Boston Salmon from the outside as Boston is pressuring, and then Brendan Loughnane is going to shoot in for some doubles, some singles, some trip takedowns, and things like that, and just look to have those win him the fight on the judges' scorecard. Really close fight in the featherweight division. I got Brendan Loughnane by a decision. Lance Palmer and Sheymon Moraes in the featherweight division. Sheymon wasn't doing too good since he lost inside of the UFC. Went over to PFL. It wasn't really looking too good. Got finished in pretty much all of his fights except for Sodiq Yusuff. Got knocked out by Andre Fili, knocked out by Brendan Loughnane, submitted by Zabit, and submitted by Marlon Moraes. But now he's on a 3-fight win streak with a submission win in 2021, a knockout win in 2021 as well, and then I don't know how he didn't get another fight on the playoffs. I'm assuming he had to pull out of it, but then he came back in 2022 with a nice unanimous decision win, and if he can win this fight, I think he will be in the playoffs for this featherweight division. But Lance Palmer has a lot to go off of in this fight. He's 35 years old. He just lost a pretty bad decision to Chris Wade. Kind of got outstruck, outgrappled, outwrestled. It just did not look good. Before that, lost to Bubba Jenkins and Move lead at Kai Bulaya as well. So the last 1 year just has not been it for Lance Palmer recently. And this is a good fight for him. I would say this is a very, very good fight for Lance Palmer, and that he could definitely go out there, get this fight down on Sheymon Moraes, and look for the finish. I mean, he's got a lot of decision wins on his record. Alex Gilpin, Alexandre de Almeida, but he's got a few TKO wins, a few submission wins, and things like that. But it's interesting, because, again, Sheymon is going to be the better striker, has that Muay Thai background, getting your back into the cage and just throwing big combinations, big shots, trying to knock you out. That's where Lance Palmer comes in. When he's throwing those big shots, that's a perfect timing for Lance Palmer to set up the takedown, land inside on Sheymon Moraes, take the fight down, and look for the ground and pound shots. Look for the submission, and whatever the case may be. And because Lance Palmer, let's face it, needs a finish in this fight if he wants to get in to the PFL 2022 playoffs, I think he's going to get a finish here. Originally, I was like, Lance, so many of this guy's fights go to a decision, but this is an instance where the PFL playoff system really is going to force Lance Palmer to have to get a finish, because if he doesn't get a finish, there's no chance he doesn't that he's gonna go to the playoffs. Zero chance whatsoever. So I'm gonna go with Lance Palmer by a submission in the second round. I think he'll kind of wrestle Sheymon Moraes in the first round, make his cardio go down the drain a little bit, and then find the back of Sheymon and squeeze for dear life and get the rear naked choke in the second rounds. Bubba Jenkins and Saba Bolaghi in the featherweight division. Two wrestlers going at each other, and I would say, you might be looking at this picture right here. He's in a singlet and things like that. He's a very good German wrestler. Doesn't matter. Bubba Jenkins is still going to have the wrestling advantage, in my opinion. And that, I think, is going to be sort of a stalemate. I don't think Saba's going to dominate Bubba on the ground. I think Bubba is going to dominate Saba Bolaghi on the ground. If there is takedowns, it's going to be like a takedown, and then 5 seconds later, that guy will get right back up to the feet, and this will be mainly 3 rounds of striking. In that case, if it is 3 rounds of striking, Bubba on the back foot, Saba Bolaghi pressuring Bubba Jenkins, looking to land his left hooks, uppercuts, overhand rights, just looking to land some hard shots that potentially look for a knockout on Bubba Jenkins. That would be the way for Saba Bolaghi to win, but as we saw in the last fight for Bubba Jenkins against Kyle Bochniak, his striking looked very, very legit. As Saba Bolaghi was coming forward, he just kept eating shots from Alejandro Flores, and as Kyle Bochniak was coming forward on Bubba Jenkins, just kept on eating shots from Bubba Jenkins. So I think this is a fairly easy prediction to make. Saba's just going to come forward and eat a lot of the shots of Bubba Jenkins, who is the taller, lengthier, and faster striker as well. So I am going to go Bubba Jenkins by unanimous decision. I think you keep the fight at range, land the kicks, land the jabs, the 1-2s, staying away from the big shots of Saba Bolaghi, and winning the fight by unanimous decision. Bubba Jenkins, 30-27. Ali Isaev and Jamelle Jones in the heavyweight division, 34 and 38 and a half years old. A little bit taller and a lot lengthier for Ali Isaev right there. And power-wise, it's the heavyweight division, so I don't know what I'm going to say about that because it's hard as hell who has the power advantage in heavyweight because there's just, like, they're always getting knockouts. No matter what, Jamelle Jones gets the knockout. No matter what, Ali Isaev most likely is getting the knockout. But he did get a lot of decision wins earlier on in his career. Kelvin Taylor, Carl Semanatua, and then Valder Estrefi right there. So it's not 100% sure that Ali Isaev is going to get a finish right here. But personally, I would say he will. Jamelle Jones being smaller, being less lengthy than Ali Isaev, the wrestling being pretty even as well, and then the kicking game of Ali Isaev being better, and the striking of Ali Isaev. I think Ali is literally better everywhere, except for maybe wrestling, which is kind of a stalemate. But honestly, I mean, at any moment in this fight, he has the advantage in every aspect of the game, with a slight exception of wrestling. And on the feet, Jamelle Jones is more of a pressuring guy, usually, so he's trying to look for the takedown, but that's not really going to be the case here against Ali Isaev. And most likely, it's going to be Jamelle Jones on the back foot, Ali Isaev pressuring him forward, looking to land the high kicks, the spinning wheel kick that we've seen him land somehow plenty of times in the heavyweight division, and just look to get Jamelle Jones back to the cage and just start throwing bombs. So I think Jamelle will look decent early on in the fight, but as Ali Isaev finds his range a little bit, starts to land on Jamelle Jones a little bit more frequently, Jamelle's back is eventually going to get to the cage, where Ali Isaev is going to load up on some big combinations, big hooks, big uppercuts, overhands, and he's going to knock out Jamelle Jones in the second round. Denis Goltsov and Sam K in the heavyweight division right here. Denis Goltsov with a 28-7 record. He's got more experience than Sam K. He's a lot bigger than Sam K, obviously. He's lengthier than Sam K as well. He's a better striker than Sam K. He's a better jiu-jitsu guy than Sam K. He's a better wrestler than Sam K. I'm going to be honest, he's better everywhere than Sam K. So Denis Goltsov is going to dominate the fight wherever the fight goes. Yes, Sam K could maybe do what Monte did last week, pressure Denis and just start throwing bombs. Yeah, possible. He could definitely do that and knock out Denis Goltsov. But again, if he does that, Denis is going to take him down, he's going to submit him, he's going to TKO him, whatever the case may be. And on the feet, either way, if he's not able to go out there and just bum rush Denis Goltsov for the finish, Denis Goltsov is going to kick him at range and knock him out with something like that. So either way for this fight, Denis Goltsov got the win on the bag. He's better pretty much everywhere I look at the fight. Size, reach, heights, age, power, submission skills, wrestling, clinch, everywhere you look at it, Goltsov has the advantage. So I'm going to go Goltsov inside the distance. No idea what finish he's going to go for, but he's going to win the fight inside the distance. Ante Delija and Stuart Austin in the heavyweight division. Ante Delija, a guy that only really loses to Marcin Tybura and Bruno Cappelozza. That's about it. But he started in the PFL, 3 years ago and beat Carl Semanatua by unanimous decision, beat Denis Goltsov, who's also in the card, by unanimous decision, beat Ultimate Fighter Chandler Cole by first round TKO, and Matheus Scheffel, who's in the main event, by second round knockout. We know the game plan for Delija. Usually it's to keep the fight at range, use that height, use that reach, pressure you forward a little bit, look for the hooks and look for the knockout, or maybe if you're a dangerous striker yourself, you look to try to land the takedowns and TKO you. But in this case, I don't think he wants to take down Stuart Austin. He's not necessarily the best of the best grapplers or wrestlers, but he does have a good submission game, in my opinion, and I do think he kind of would want to worry about that a little bit of Stuart Austin. I mean, there's a possibility Ante could just take him down and just start ground and pounding the heck out of him just to get away from the submissions, kind of like how Nurmagomedov does, just grinding and ground and pounding through. But overall, I do think this is going to be more of a striking fight. Stuart just trying to land the kicks at range and things like that. And Ante Delija just looking to pressure him forward, high guard, moving forward slowly, eventually trying to time one big shot and knock out Stuart Austin in the first or second round. And Austin gets knocked out pretty much every single fight. What was the last time? Decision from Artur Gluchowski back in 2015. Everything else has been a knockout loss for Stuart Austin. It's going to be another one right here. Ante Delija in the first or second round by KO or TKO. Renan Ferreira and Klidson Abreu in the heavyweight division. And yes, Klidson did have a very good win last time. Beat Adam Koresh by unanimous decision. Very, very good win. I don't care. He's 6 inches smaller than Renan Ferreira. He is 10 inches less in reach than Renan Ferreira. He's not as good of a striker as Renan. He's not as big as Renan. Renan has to cut to heavyweight. Klidson does not. He's not as good as jiu-jitsu as Renan Ferreira. I mean, there's literally nowhere I give Klidson Abreu the advantage. Like, literally nowhere. If he goes out there and takes down Renan Ferreira, he's going to lose. He's going to get submitted. And if the fight stays on the feet, it's going to get knocked out easily in that fight. Renan Ferreira is legit. I mean, I think this dude would be in like the top 10, top 5 of the UFC heavyweight division right now. He's just that good, in my opinion. Beat Jared Vandeira, a UFC fighter, by a triangle choke in the second round. Beat Carl Semenatafa, knocked out Stuart Austin, and then knocked out Jamelle Jones easily in the first round right there. This fight with Klidson Abreu, Klidson's going to be trying to close that distance, look for the takedown, and he's going to get caught. It's as simple as that. Renan Ferreira by domination, KO TKO in the first or second rounds. Chris Wade and Kyle Bochniak in the PFL featherweight division. Kyle Bochniak, you know, he's a grinder. He's got good striking. I mean, he makes it a war pretty much every time he goes out there. Beat UFC fighter Carlton Minus. Beat UFC fighter Marcus Brimage. Lost to Sean Woodson. Lost to Zabit Magomed Sharipov in an absolute freaking war. Lost to Hakeem Dawodu. But he makes it a war every time. No matter what, in a freaking... in a fight with Chris Wade and Kyle Bochniak, no matter what, this fight's going to be a war. Yeah, we've seen Kyle Bochniak get taken down countless times inside the PFL and inside the UFC by Lance Palmer right there, but I really don't care. Chris Wade is a better wrestler, he's a better grappler. Even though Kyle Bochniak was able to get up from a lot of those takedowns and land some good shots on the feet and close up the eye of Bubba Jenkins, I mean, he did very, very well in that fight. I don't even think he's going to win in the striking against Chris Wade. Chris Wade looked amazing in the striking against Lance Palmer. Like, I'm talking, looked absolutely freaking amazing. Outstruck him every single round, had the better wrestling, defended all the takedowns. I mean, he's going to destroy Kyle Bochniak in this fight. I think he has the better striking, the better wrestling, the better grappling. He's going to beat Kyle Bochniak everywhere. And I think Chris Wade is going to dominate. I think Chris Wade is going to dominate this fight wherever the fight goes. On the feet, he's got really good body kicks, leg kicks, high kicks. He's a lot faster than Kyle Bochniak. He's taller than Kyle Bochniak. He's got the wrestling that is better than Kyle Bochniak. Domination here. Chris Wade by unanimous decision. Anthony Pettis and Stevie Ray in the PFL lightweight division. Stevie Ray a little bit younger, same height, and a little bit of a reach advantage for Anthony Pettis. Now, originally I was like, yeah, maybe Stevie Ray has a shot. I mean, could go out there, land some takedowns, maybe submit Pettis like Diego Ferreira did. Whatever the case may be, there's a shot. Stevie Ray has a good shot of going out there and beating Anthony Pettis. And then I was like, Anthony Pettis' takedown defense is it's not the best, but it's pretty decent. And Stevie Ray's takedowns aren't really the best, but it's pretty decent. So it's a hard one to predict in that I don't know if Stevie Ray's going to go out there and land a takedown easily in the first round. I don't know if Anthony Pettis is going to stuff it very easily in the first round. I'm telling all of you, live bet it as soon right after Stevie Ray's first takedown attempt. If Pettis defends it, he's going to win the fight. If Ray lands it, he's probably going to win the fight. So it's a tough one here. I am leaning Pettis to win. He's going to land more shots on the feet. He's got the better striking, not the better grappling, but he's got the better striking, more power, more speed in his hand, and whatever Stevie Ray does on the ground is not gonna take over the striking that Anthony Pettis is going to be having throughout the fight, because as we do know, judging criteria has damage first, then grappling, like effective grappling as in you're close to finishing it with a submission, TKO, whatever the case may be, and I don't think Stevie Ray is going to get into any of those positions to get close on a finish on Anthony Pettis. I think if he gets the fight to the ground, Pettis will be held there for a little bit, then get right back up on the feet in the fight back at range and just outstrike Stevie Ray. He's way, way better than Stevie Ray on the feet. He has better volume, better speed, more power in his hands, really good jabs, really good kicks as well. I mean, he's a very athletic striker, and Stevie Ray really is not anywhere near that of Anthony Pettis. So I'm going to lean Anthony Pettis' decision here. I think Stevie has a lot of work cut out of him. In this fight with Anthony Pettis, he needs to grind this whole entire fight, and I don't think he can do that against Anthony Pettis for 3 full rounds. Then the fight goes all the way. Anthony Pettis by a unanimous decision. Bruno Cappelozza and Matheus Scheffel in the heavyweight division. Now, this is a tough prediction, guys. I don't know who I have winning this one. I mean, on one hand, you have Matheus Scheffel, 15 wins and 8 losses. Got knocked out by Azamat Murzakanov in the first round. Got knocked out by Ante Delija in the second round. Got knocked out in the first round. Got knocked out in the second round. Got knocked out. I don't know. All of these knockout losses lead me to believe Scheffel is probably going to win the fight. No. This is like the easiest prediction on the card, guys. Yes, he's 29 years old. Yeah, he's going to have a little bit of a wrestling, maybe. I mean, he could go out there, land some takedowns on Bruno Cappelozza, but, I mean, if Ante Delija was out there going for takedowns throughout the Bruno Cappelozza fight, and Bruno was defending them with ease throughout that 5-round war, there's no way Scheffel's going to take him down, and Bruno has more power in his hands, he's faster, he's got better movement, and he's lengthier than Matheus Scheffel. I mean, this is the easiest prediction on the card. Bruno just freaking destroyed Stuart in the first round, destroyed Jamelle Jones, destroyed Mo Doris, destroyed Ante Delija, lost to freaking Yuri Prochazka, the UFC light heavyweight champ. That is it. In the last 4 years, lost to freaking Yuri. That is it. And he's been knocking out everyone except for Ante Delija in that war. This is so easy. Come on, guys. Bruno Cappelozza by KO, TKO in the first or second rounds. Those are the PFL 5 2022 regular season full card predictions. I got Cappelozza, I got Anthony Pettis, I got Chris Wade, I got Renan, Ferreira, Ante Delija, Denis Goltsov, Ali Isaev, Bubba Jenkins, Lance Palmer, Brendan Loughnane, and Alejandro Flores. I already know you guys are going to say, well, that's all favorites. Yeah, they're favorites for a reason, guys. They are favorites for a reason. But the underdogs, I think, have a very, very legit chance of winning on this card are, number 1, Sheymon Moraes. I mean, Lance Palmer has not been doing good at all in the UFC, or in the UFC either, or the PFL. I mean, he's been doing pretty bad recently. Not been able to land any takedowns whatsoever. So, Sheymon Moraes is live. Ryoji Kudo is definitely a live underdog. He's got a lot more power than Alejandro Flores. Another live dog. Yeah, that's probably it. Other than that, I mean, I think every other favorite wins fairly easily. It's just Flores and Palmer are a little iffy. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. It seems like a pretty self-explanatory card. So, I got literally all the favorites winning, but yeah. That is the prediction video. I don't think any of these underdogs will win. None of them really have that it factor to go out there and finish. I mean, yeah, heavyweight, there's a possibility one of them could win. Like we just saw with Emiliano Sordi get knocked out in the first round. Yeah, one of them could just go blazing and go forward and just start chucking bombs and win. But I don't think it's going to happen. Those are my predictions. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Let's go.